Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of Watches and Whiskey. Because this is Watches and Whiskey, we have some watches. Where's the whiskey? Adrian, last time I brought a bottle of Macallan 18. What do you got for me?
Well, yeah, Roman, since you came out the gate swinging with a bottle of Macallan 18, I figured I would return the favor. So I got us a case of Keystone Light.
Cut? What the fuck, dude?
No, I'm just kidding, play it.
What are we going with today?
We're going with the Levit 18.
Okay.
I apologize, it's already cracked, but that's my father's fault.
Can you pour me?
I already got you poured up.
All right, so let's toast to our second episode and let's get it rolling. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, hang on. On the agenda today, I got a segment 1, watch industry news. Rolex flippers drive 2020 Submariner prices to over 80% above retail, according to WatchPro.com. Erik Boneta, chief executive of New York-based Boneta Inc., who has trading offices all over the world, helped authorize dealers and find watch stores handling agent inventory, compiled the latest pricing data for WatchPro.com from a range of sources, including WhatsApp groups and the thousands of deals the business is doing every day. Mr. Boneta is keen to be clear that his business does not lobby authorized dealers to sell new watches, a policy that separates the company from the flippers. Well, I don't know Mr. Boneta, but I do know Erik very well.
Yeah.
And because we knew about this article coming in, we actually got Erik on Zoom. Erik is a very dear and near friend of ours. We've been doing business for over 12 years, I would say, maybe a little more. I've known Erik over 15 years when you were still in middle school. But Erik, welcome to the show. How are you?
Cheers. Cheers. Macallan 18.
Yeah. We didn't rehearse this. He actually happens to be drinking Macallan. Is that a lemon or is that a piece of ice?
It's a big ice cube.
Nice. That's a nice touch. We got to get those, by the way. I got them at home.
Actually, no. According to some of our viewers, they actually like the fact that we didn't put ice cubes on Macallan. They said it needs to be drank neat.
Well,
so
it's Friday at 3 in the afternoon. We still have a few hours at the office. So, in either case, Erik, they're talking about Submariner here, 41 millimeter with date, an oyster steel with black dial, 1266610 LN, is now selling for anywhere from 13 to 14,000.
Correct. Yeah.
I guess these guys are from the UK, so the retail is like weird over there. What's the retail in the US is what, 91?
Somewhere around there.
Is this prices you were giving them on the retail market or on the wholesale market?
I actually think that the retail wholesale is kind of blended in with these sport models and these hot models that are kind of so transparent. But this is actual traded prices. This is what people actually will pay. Just because someone puts a watch up a Chrono 24 for $20,000, that doesn't mean they'll ever sell for that, right? But this is actually what they trade for. Obviously, the margins are really thin on Rolex sport models or just Rolex in general. So someone being 10% higher is probably a big difference. But that's what they generally trade for. That's the wholesale market at the end of the day is what it sells for. Yeah.
If the wholesale on is according to this 13.7, a retail may very well be 13.9, 14,000. Right? I mean, and that's what it comes down to. The 41 millimeter Kermit, which is the new Kermit, right?
Yeah.
The one with the ceramic bezel black dial, now trading at $18,000 to $19,000, which again is 10 grand. It's more than 80%.
Basically double.
It's basically double. Yeah. I mean, it's 100% over retail. Yeah. Erik, do you see specifically the Kermit? Because I always talked about how when Rolexes come out, like let's go back a few years. My thing always was look. Brand new Rolex comes out of the gate. Whenever they announce them, they come out high because everybody wants them, and then within probably 3 to 6 months, they slowly come down to earth. Be it under retail or over retail is relevant to the current market, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
What do you think is going to happen here? Because I think that even if they're trading at 18 to 20,000 or 18 to 19,000, right? Do you see them coming back down to 15, 16 anytime soon?
I mean, it could if the whole world crashes. Yes, it'll come down with the economy, right? They came out of the gate in the low 20s, 22, 23,000 initially. Obviously, that was too high, so it kind of found its comfort place. Rolex knows they price these retails very low because they know it's going to sell for 50%, 6%. And the more popular the watch is, aka Sub, Daytona, will always do a lot better than a Sea Dweller or a two-tone Sea Dweller or whatever it is. They might sell for 10% over retail or a Deep Sea. But the iconic Subs and Daytonas always are stronger. They always go for a lot more percentage over retail. Will it settle? Yeah. Could it go to 16,000? Sure, why not, right?
But 16,000 is still almost double retail. I mean,
yeah. It also matters how they ship. Rolex generally ships in waves, because they produce the same amount of, a certain amount of watches and they ship them out. So if they do get a wave that comes out, and then people buy them, then resell them, you'll see more come out at certain times. If the factory shut down again, which like they did earlier in the year, the market price will go up because they can't make up the production. They already work 24 hours a day, 3 8-hour shifts. I mean, so that's another factor also. So it's people think like Rolex holds back inventory. They don't.
There's more watches in here. Obviously, the Tiffany Blue Dial OP, which retail 5,800, market price around 8, right now.
Double.
Again,
more than 8.
Well, the Tiffany dial is more than the other dial.
The Tiffany Blue, which was the nickname of it, for the 36 millimeter, is a great woman's watch, right? So that's the best out of the 36 millimeter. It's just a nice watch. Period.
I ordered one for Anna.
Yeah. So there we go. So it'll sell in the large size also, in the green will also and everything else. But sometimes the 41, which they made, might be too big for certain women. So that's why I think the 36 is a great size. And then they make like some pink colors and they call it candy and they change around. So not every size has the same exact dial. Some of them do, some crossover. But again, the retails are relatively cheap, right? So Rolex knows what they're doing. They can make the retails 10,000. Will the watches sell for 20? No. Will they sell for a hair of retail? 10%? Yeah, but this is basically free market for them, where people like to buy stuff that holds value long term.
Everybody thinks that it's the secondary market that's driving these crazy prices. We're dictating this, but you said it yourself. Rolex is very well aware what the hell is going on. So why not take that OP 36 millimeter that they know the market can hold 10,000 and make the retail 8 and make more money themselves?
Because the barrier to entry becomes higher for the guy walking into the store. If you raise that retail price, it becomes extremely affordable. So people are going to walk in there, buy them, and crank them out.
Thank you, Erik.
Also, they're very smart, and this is marketing to them, right? And they're very, very probably the smartest luxury brand in the world. I've never seen where you having what we used to call an Air King, a 34 millimeter with no date on it. Now it's called Oyster Perpetual, selling for retail. I would never think that, never, right? I think it was almost 7 years without Rolex having a price increase, and when they had one, it was extremely minimal. So, just with inflation and other brands with Cartier, Jaeger, IWC, Chanel, you name it, going retail up, retail down, retail up, down, Swiss franc up, down, people lose their confidence of that. So Rolex is underpriced. So, and they know that, right? They know it's underpriced. They have a great quality brand. They're the strongest brand and at their price point and for the production watches they make a lot of watches, right? But there's a huge demand for them, so that's all part of their plan. They know, can Hermes charge $20,000 for a Birkin that retails for 8 or 10? Sure, but why do that? It's all free marketing, it's all prestige. Could they make more watches for certain SKUs, certain model numbers? Yeah, they could make more. They can make less ladies 28 millimeters because they don't sell as well, but they don't because they're in it for the long term. People always think like, oh, Rolex is just doing this to make money. The last thing that this company needs is cash. They do not need cash. They're a private company. There's no investors. It's not publicly traded. At the end of the day, they don't need more money, right? They just want prestige. They want longevity. They want to be around for another 100+ years. So what's the point? Their quality control is going to be great. Their product is going to be at a great price point. And the brand I've never seen it before like this, where so many things sell for over retail.
How about gold pieces? Entry point stainless steel pieces that pretty much everybody wants, but the gold pieces, that's what's killing me.
Platinum Daytona is 75, 76,000 retail, whatever it is. It's selling for $80,000. I mean, platinum watches were always the hardest, or generally are in most brands. And that watch is selling at retail. Why? They don't ship that many. They're very smart about that. They know they can make more. It's the same movement. There's a steel Daytona. It's the exact same thing. They plug into the case. How about the green dial Daytona? It's $55,000 is probably current market value on it. 4 or 5 years ago, it was half the price.
John Mayer came out with that video, I think, and it's just
if you go back to around the time we started in this business, Erik, and I think it's been around. I mean, it's been 18 years for me, and I think it's been around the same for you as well. If you think about Rolex, thank you. If you think about Rolex, it has always been set in stone that there was one watch in the Rolex lineup that always sold over list, and that was the Rolex Daytona. That's been like this forever since I've been in the business. Only recently, with the coming of the Sky Dweller, and this wasn't during this crazy ass Rolex market we're in now. This was when we finally saw another watch that's now trading over list, whether it was a white dial, a black dial, especially the blue dial, right? And I thought it was going to be a fad where it's one of those things, it's a new Rolex, it came out of the gate high and it's going to slowly come back down and probably trade slightly under list. That didn't happen, and then the hype happened. So you really had only two watches, with the Sky Dweller being a relative newcomer. Now, pretty much 70% of the Rolex catalog is over list. It's insane. It is absolutely insane.
Once the Sky Dweller came out, I realized something that Rolex did initially, which it wasn't going to sell on the list, because they purposely lowered that retail. They came out with a very low retail on the watch of, at the time, it was $14,400 for a steel Sky Dweller. The rose gold at the time was $48,150. The yellow gold Yachtmaster was $43. So it's called the yellow gold Sky Dweller. It's $46,150. The yellow gold Yacht 2 was $43,150. So it should be higher retail, right? It should be higher than the Yachtmaster 2. A steel Yacht 2 at the time was $18,750, right? So Sky Dweller should be higher. Plus, it has a white gold bezel, which they charge a few $1,000s more for. So it should have been $21,000, $22,000, $23,000 retail. They made it a $14,400. Again, they don't need the money. It was free marketing because watch is cheap, because it should have been more, and it's held a great value. And the Hulk was selling for a while for over retail. In the midst between the Sky Dweller. But now you're right, everything has went up. Partially inflation. They kept the retails low on purpose, for sure on purpose. Just to keep, again, it's free marketing. You're buying this watch for $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. If you have $10,000 in the bank right now and do nothing with it for 10 years, and you buy a Submariner for $10,000, in 10 years from now, the 0.001% interest you get in the bank, and then your Submariner in 10 years. It might go up in 2 years, it might go down in 3 years, up again, but in 10 years, a steel Submariner is going to be worth more than it is today. Same thing with steel Daytona and a few other watches.
Yeah, I always say that watches are not an investment. If you want an investment, buy Apple stock. That's like my go-to. But at the same token, I think Rolex is the one company that has gotten the closest to the goal of being a true investment quality brand. Because if you look across other hot brands, be it Patek, be it Audemars, you're talking about specific pieces, specific lines, and specific pieces within those lines.
I don't know. Richard Mille will make that
argument. But Richard Mille is an anomaly,
across
right?
the board.
Richard Mille is another anomaly, but I'm talking about coming down to earth, like Erik said, affordable pieces, right? Not $300,000 pieces. So right. I think by doing what Erik just said, and he nailed it in the head, because you now have a brand that is now almost entirely looked at as a brand that is something that holds their value as an investment for the future. Before, you wouldn't have guys walking into retail shops and willing to pay retail for gold pieces, for platinum pieces, and things of that nature. And by doing what they did, or by what happened, now you can walk into a Rolex boutique and pretty much anything you buy is good, right? I mean, look, the other day, Adrian was looking for a 36 millimeters two-tone something or other for me. He got quoted 7 off on a brand new watch. A watch that we wouldn't stock for 30 off a year ago. There has never historically been a brand where you can simply say, hey, 70% of this stuff is retail or above. It just doesn't happen. How long do you think it's going to last?
Well, Erik, hopefully forever.
Erik, how long do you think this will last?
There's obviously factors and variables that world economies, currencies, et cetera, and the production numbers. One thing I'll keep on bringing back, if they keep their retails low, which they are low compared to other brands. If you want to compare an AP chronograph, it's probably close to $25,000, $26,000, $27,000 retail, and the Daytona is 12, right? Yes, AP makes 42,000, 45,000 watches a year now, right? And Rolex makes probably $1 million. We don't know, right? If they keep the prices low, the retail's low, it's going to last for a long time. It's going to last for a long time. People buy it as to wear, a luxury investment. So I don't think there's a bubble. I don't think there's a crash. Could there be adjustments? Yes, it's life. It's going to happen. Things are going to, you buy Manhattan real estate, which is down now, I'm sure. But in 10 or 20 years from now, it's going to be higher than it is today. right? And again, what do you if you're not doing anything, if you have extra capital and you enjoy a watch or enjoy luxury, you're better off buying a watch and just keeping the money in the bank without investing it. So, and again, Rolex and the sport models and stainless steel, simpler, cheaper models are always good investments. And now they turn into gold watches and rose gold watches and platinum Daytonas. Most of the line is good. We've said good, except for a few watches that I don't want to say they're terrible. They just don't sell as well. And maybe steel and gold and the smaller 28 millimeters, which are meant for different markets. But just they have to have some variety. They can't just all make one certain line. So I don't see anything happening anytime soon. Again, minor adjustments here and there, but that's about it.
I'm going to ask you one last question before we let you go. And again, I appreciate you jumping on a Zoom with us. At which point do retail clients, or even wholesale clients really, but at which points do clients pretty much forget the official retail price and take it for what it is and say, look, because I spoke to a couple of retail clients, I'm like, look, how am I paying $18,000 for a watch that retails for $9,000? I'm like, well, if you're paying $18,000 for a watch, it retails for $18,000. That's how I look at it, because that line between the official MSRP and the actual market price, if it stabilizes for another 3-4 years and it stays this way, people will virtually forget about these retail prices, and Rolex is going to have to come up with a new gimmick, because right now their gimmick is that low retail, as you mentioned.
So I think as every day goes by, every year goes by, whatever you call it, people understand this. I used to know every retail on the back of my head, like whatever else it is. Now it doesn't matter. It's worth what it's worth, and I'm not buying it at retail anyway. So what does it matter, right? I know what it's worth when it's pre-owned. I know what it's worth when it's slightly used, whatever the case may be. I think that's just people understand they can't get a Steel Daytona at list. They can't get a Pepsi. They can't get a Batman, but they want it. You can't get a white gold GMT, with a meteorite, which is again, probably almost 20,000 over retail, 15,000 over retail. You can't get that at list anymore. So I think people accept that they need to go find it and probably go buy it on luxurybazaar.com.
Thank you for that plug, Erik. I appreciate it. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time and jumping on. Go ahead and finish out your week. Cheers. Bye. I'll see you in New York. All right, bye.
Erik Boneta, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so next thing on our topic. Who's this guy? Looks like Pops. Guys, can we throw up a picture of Gary on the screen? So Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder and the richest man in the world, is barely
seen wearing a watch.
No, is barely. I need my glasses for this. Is barely seen wearing a watch. That's what it says. But when he is, it's usually his Ulysse Nardin dual time 23388-7, which is roughly around $12,900. But with pretty much no financial restrictions, what do you think old Jeff should actually be wearing, Adrian?
Patek Grandmaster Chime.
Because he's got money like that?
Yes.
No, you're saying what you would be wearing. I mean, just take a pause. I understand you want him to have the most expensive watch in the world.
Yes.
But
let it fit the narrative. He is a one-on-one. Grandmaster Chime is basically one-on-one.
Bill Gates wears a Timex.
Okay.
He doesn't give a shit.
We're talking about Jeff Bezos here, and Bill Gates, the same exact narrative, the same vibe. They have that picture on Instagram. It's like you got, I think it was Warren Buffett, Gates, and Zuckerberg or whatever.
Not a single
Gucci belt in sight.
Okay, but
I think he should be wearing. Listen, he should wear what he likes.
Okay, well, first of all, let's look.
You're asking me if I was Jeff Bezos. If I was Jeff Bezos,
so he doesn't have to pay. He doesn't have to pay overlist for it. He can get the Grand Chime directly from Patek for $3 million. Right?
That's for sure.
My question to you is, though, remember he's still a human being,
right?
It's a big watch. It's not a very comfortable watch. It's a complicated watch that you can,
Have you worn a Master Chime before?
Of course, I had two of them. No, I didn't. But look, we're talking about wearability at the same time. Because remember, he's still a human being. I guarantee you, he puts that watch on. I've handled a Grandmaster Chime. Yes. I've thrown one on my wrist at a last trade show. Actually, last time we were in Hong Kong. So
I think Ali, Grandmaster.
No.
Grandmaster?
Ali had the Grandmaster Chime. I put it on my wrist.
The Grassmaster.
It was a Grandmaster Chime that Ali let me look at, and when I put it on my wrist, it's a big watch. It's not a comfortable watch to wear. The strap is. It's just not a watch you wear every day. So let's take wearability into consideration. What would you have him wear?
Listen,
comfort.
This guy is a one-of-one. At the end of the day, he basically changed the scope of the world, the way we do things, the way we buy, the way we sell, the way anything.
Tell me about it. My wife is the prime queen.
Exactly. If I was him, what I would wear? Grandmaster chime.
Let me try this. Ask me the same question.
Roman Sharf. If you were Jeff Bezos, what would you wear as a daily watch?
Honestly, I reach out to Richard Mille, and I have a watch made for me. I would honestly, legitimately reach out to Richard Mille and have a custom fit watch made for me.
Why Richard Mille, Roman?
Because it's the hottest right now.
Oh.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, Richard Mille is for those with money.
So basically, our conversation comes down to the fact that he can basically afford anything that he wants.
Right. But you went from, I went from $3 million to, a couple of 100,000. There's a big difference. I'm talking about strictly from wearability perspective. There's a couple of things I see him wearing. Number one, a custom-made Richard Mille, and if Richard Mille tells him F off, he'll just buy Richard Mille and then call it a day, right?
Easy.
but I think the last going rate for Richard Mille, I think it was $1 billion. I think John wanted for the company. But anyway, I see him having a custom fit watch made for himself if it's dual time functionality he wants, and pretty much say, look, this is what I'm looking for in the watch, but make it in a hype brand that's comfortable to wear, that can be durable and be a daily wear. Because if he's seen wearing that watch on a regular, that means that's his beater, right? Because he's Jeff Bezos, he can have an expensive beater.
But you know what else I can see him wearing?
What?
An Amazon watch. What is an Amazon watch, you ask? He could just make his own damn company. Amazon watches, and that shit will sell
as much as I like to say that he is the man, he can do whatever he wants in the world. That's really not going to get any clout in the real world.
So the answer is a Grandmaster chime for me.
And I'm going to go with a custom-made Richard Mille. Let's go to money talks. Recent purchases, recent losses. Things we regret buying, things we wish we should have bought.
Ooh.
Well, we didn't bring a lot of watches this time because, again, we weren't trying to make this about, let me show you a bunch of watches. But the reason we brought nothing but 4 offshores right now is because...
Stainless steel offshores at that.
Stainless steel, we're buying up stainless steel offshores. And I'm going to let Adrian bought an old school Navy, right? Still one of my favorite offshores. I think the combo of the
great
blue and the white.
combo.
I think the hornback strap, there it is a pretty cool strap. I think one of the coolest straps that they came out with. You also bought a steel rubber clad. And when you told me you bought a steel rubber clad, I said that better not be beat to shit because
this is it's impossible. It's hard for the audience to see, but that is the best conditioned rubber clad I've ever seen.
10 plus years old, these watches. The rubber tends to get dry. When it dries, it tends to crack. People walk into door handles and the door with these, you get chips taken out. That's the first thing I told them. I said, if you're buying a steel rubber clad, I said that better be in good condition because I know that notoriously they're usually in bad condition.
That came in. You didn't have any idea it was coming in.
What are you telling me?
Rubber clad.
No, I did. You told me about the rubber clad.
When?
2 days ago, you said I bought a rubber clad.
When it came in today?
You said it was stuck in customs, remember?
That's true.
We did talk about it. Yeah, this thing was like somebody messed up and filling out a form. It was stuck in customs hollow.
A long time.
Yeah. All right, so why specifically older offshores?
I almost kind of want to bring them back to the forefront where they used to be when I first started. Like we've mentioned many times before, offshores used to be the cool thing, followed by the Royal Oak. Now it has absolutely flipped. So why I want to bring offshores back? Because they're just not on the market right now. And I think for the money, I think it's a fantastic watch. At the end of the day, we sell so much demand for offshores. But today, anything newer style, 26470 reference, or anything that's basically not steel is simply expensive.
In general, if you want Audemars, there's a lot of guys out there that want Audemars Piguet, but it's becoming untouchable. The Royal Oak I'm wearing, what's that going for today?
$30,000.
For a pre-owned white dial Royal Oak Chrono 41 millimeter.
Yes, correct.
Okay, in stainless steel. It's insane. We just got done talking about Rolex, which is pretty insane. But again, there are no watches out there from Audemars Piguet under $20,000. They just don't exist. Right. The only things that do exist is offshores, and then becoming more and more scarce. Again, they all have one key thing in common: we're able to sell them under $20,000. Yeah. And if somebody wants to put an AP on their wrist, obviously they can. Of course, I bought this, and you kind of frowned upon this a little bit when you saw this come in, which is the Audemars Piguet End of Days. Do you know the original retail on this watch?
$18,000.
The original retail price on the End of Days Audemars Piguet was $10,000.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, it was. So this is a cool one. Now, this is the same watch where you saw this watch. I think I did an episode on this where I said, this watch is trading for just around that $20,000 price range, where I paid in the mid-20s for this one already. And why? Same reasons. Just like the older offshores are creeping up, the limited ones are really, really creeping up. Mind you, this is a watch at one time that sold upwards of $65,000. Mm-hmm. It was an anomaly. It was a gentleman in Chicago that thought that he's going to corner the market in all of them. We sold him 11, right? Anywhere from 45,000. I sold it to him anywhere from 38,000 all the way out to $60,000. And he vacuum sealed all of them. He probably had like 30 of them. That plan kind of went bust. The reason it went bust is because he was trying to create a market by himself. For a market to be created, there has to be more than one buyer or something. You know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty obvious. But a couple of important things with this, and I'll have Ian throw up the pictures. What I liked about this watch, and a lot of people don't know what it is, and I'll do like a what's on my desk. I'll show you guys what it all comes with. It comes with a completely different half moon box, a completely different warranty book, which is also black. It comes with a Velcro strap, which will fit Arnold Schwarzenegger's wrist. He actually wore this watch in the movie End of Days. Not this one, but one like it. We actually had the one that he wore in the movie. Remember, we sold that one for $48,000.
It had like a certificate or something.
Well, there was a different reference on both together. This was about a year ago. Remember, we had it. Came with extra yellow straps. It came with the original screwdriver. People tend to throw a screwdriver in that box, not knowing that the original screwdriver had a PVD top of the screwdriver. It was a normal watch screwdriver, but it had a little. So a collector understands those old little things that are really important, and I'm one of those guys because this is what I grew up in the business on. So this was the biggest reason I bought this, and again, another watch that I feel has a lot more room to grow back. But there were times where this watch was trading at 45 at the time when my toys were trading at 35, let's say. And then last but not least, this guy again. I don't know. Every time I come across these, every time we sell one, I want to have one back in stock, and I think the biggest reason for that is because.
You're a camo military junkie?
Yeah, and it matches a new gun. Remember I said we're going to talk about guns, so obviously I brought another one. So you hold the watch and I'll show you a gun that matches it. Ready? You didn't even notice that in front of you. Bam.
What the?
So this is a Mossberg Shockwave. It's a very cheap shotgun. It's about a $450 shotgun, right? It's very rough to shoot because of the size of it. But of course, I'm extra, so I send this thing. Shout out to KAE Customs. You can find them on Facebook. I send this gun into them I said, listen, have you ever watched The Walking Dead? He said, of course I have. Every gun junkie does. I said, well, make it look like this was the gun from The Walking Dead, and he did. I think he did a good job. What do you think? It looks like he was in a swamp for a little bit.
It's badass. It definitely matches his watch.
So you put that watch on with this gun.
Much more affordable than the watch.
Exactly. Anyway, about guns. Let's go back to. Let's make sure this sucker doesn't go off, and then let's go back to something else. Talk to me about what?
No.
What?
No.
What?
I thought we were going to talk more about the camo.
Nah, no need to talk about it. Well, I guess we can talk about what the market is.
30 grand.
30 grand brand new, right?
Yeah.
And
again, this goes back to the new offshore versus old offshore price difference.
But this is not that old though.
Well, I'm saying new versus old.
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh, you're talking about this versus
exactly.
this. I mean, look, green ceramic bezel. I honestly like the this is the very first one.
This is my favorite camo that they made.
Exactly.
They made the old green. They made the old
ones.
blue. This is the best one, I think.
I think so too. Let's talk about something you regret buying.
Something I regret buying. Man, time to drink. It's a tough one. I just recently bought a watch by accident without, sometimes a lot of times I wake up in the morning, I do a lot of my buys basically with one eye open in the morning.
How about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning,
so
the WhatsApps?
Sometimes I'll just wake up and I'll WhatsApp people, offer me stuff. I do a lot of business overseas. And I just
sometimes one too many Glenn Levits.
So basically just bought a watch not knowing that it didn't have papers with it. So
what was it?
It was a Patek.
Okay, which one?
I'm not gonna listen. When I confirm something,
I know
it's a done
deal.
deal.
Actually a good point. Like a guy, and I'm gonna talk about this later. This is one of my pet peeves in the business. But go ahead. So
absolute pet peeve, which we'll talk about later.
So you buy a watch.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You find. How did you think it had paper? You just assume it had paper.
Cause a lot of times we get voice notes, right? So I just didn't fully comprehend the voice note. We're still gonna be okay. I have no doubt about it. It's a very
tell me
important.
the price difference between papers and no papers that you would have paid less.
It's a 20% difference between the price of 27.
I want to know what the fuck you bought.
It's a lady's Patek. It's okay.
All right. So what was the total price that you paid for the watch?
27,000.
And without papers, you would have paid
22, 23.
So we're gonna lose money on that.
Well, we'll still make money. Don't worry.
We'll just have to wait a month until it goes up.
We made worse purchases. Believe me.
Oh yeah.
Cheers to that.
Like.
Not gonna name any names. Quorum.
So I bought a humongous closeout of Quorums, and in my defense, now there was, I'm gonna say 86 or 87 watches in that package, right? It was a decent sized package, and I bought it right. I bought it a really good cents on a dollar, but a good friend of ours, literally 3 weeks later, not gonna name any names, calls me up. He's like, "Yo, I'm picking up this Quorum package," and like, if I don't remember what his price and my price was, but the difference was probably roughly 30 to 40%. Of course, he bought a deal that had 600 watches. So what ended up happening is I ended up getting the ass end of the lot. And where I went wrong was not to call our friends that are in the same business that do closeouts just like we do, and because we all talk contrary to all belief, because we want to bounce stuff off of each other to make sure that we don't make these kind of mistakes. So had I called him instead of just having an impulse buy, like you said, because I thought it was cheap enough, he would have told me that, hey, I'm working on one right now, which I'm buying 30 to 40% cheaper, and I would have offered 30 to 40% cheaper to stay in line. Nevertheless, look, out of the 86 watches, we have maybe 7, 8 left. So they sold. They make a lot on some of them.
A few more, but it's okay.
Lost a couple of dollars on some, but
it was kind of.
doesn't really matter.
Thank God they're all under 5,000 cost. So
exactly.
It's all good.
All right, so let's talk about what really grinds my gears.
What are you, Peter Griffin?
Huh? Who's Peter Griffin?
That's where that saying came from.
Really?
Family Guy? No. Doesn't ring a bell. Peter Griffin.
Don't watch Family Guy.
You're missing out, man.
Just, I was a Simpson guy like a while back, but I
Family Guy all day.
All right, so what really grind my gears by Peter Griffin? I just started talking about what Adrian just did, right? With a lot of newcomers into this industry, a lot of these new flippers, a lot of these fly-by guys that want to flip a watch here and there. I have no issues with them. Let them do their thing. Let them continue making money. If they grow to be bigger and better, by all means. I never wish anybody bad. But what grinds my gears, and as Adrian just did, it was the perfect example. So Adrian goes out and buys a watch for $27,000. He assumed that it had papers. The watch without papers would have won 22, 23. Adrian just as easily could have said, "Hey, I thought you said it had papers. I misread your message. No, without papers, it's not worth it. I'm paying you 23." It was my mistake. But Adrian consciously know, and he could have gotten out of it, not bought it at all, because at the end of the day, what is this guy going to do? Shove the watch down his throat and then get paid? Not going to happen, right? Adrian made the conscious decision, and this is how Adrian came up in the industry, us being in the wholesale industry specifically, is that when you give somebody your word and you make a deal, I don't care if you lose 50% on that watch, you take the deal. Because at the end of the day, in this industry, I told you guys, the only thing you have is your word, right? Was it Tony Montana?
It's like, I was about to say Scarface.
Yeah, Scarface.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for nobody.
That was the most terrible fucking impression of Scarface ever. I told you, man. You look like a tiger, man. But anyway, that was good, no?
That was really good.
Yeah, you're stuck. So, again, and now with the industry ever expanding, with so much opportunity out there for these fly-by guys and these flippers to come in there, these guys have no shame. They could give two shits about what their name is and reputation. Case in point.
Well, listen, it probably happens in any industry that our viewers.
Talk about what happened a month ago with a $200,000 watch.
To be quite honest, I don't know what happened. I'm
gonna give him I'm gonna give the preface to the story. I have a client of mine that needs a watch. Okay, but prior to that, we find a watch for $195,000, something like that, right? And it just so happened as he's confirming the watch, I get a call on the watch and said, "Hey, I have one." I normally never say I have something until I physically have it in my hands, right? But or at least I have it confirmed. I know it's on its way to my Hong Kong office or whatever it might be. In this case, the watch was already bought from we thought a reputable guy we got a couple of references on him. He was going to hand deliver the watch to our Hong Kong office, and Sarah was going to take delivery. So I sold the watch. Again, I always tell myself, don't sell shit until you physically have it in hand. He's learned it so many times. Something always backfires. Murphy's Law. Lo and behold, said, "Adrian, guess what? That watch you just bought, I sold it. Made a reasonable profit. We sold it to a dealer. Nothing crazy." And then?
Well, it was very simple. He just, the way the deal went down is that it was going to be payment on delivery in Hong Kong. The guy's from the Middle East. I don't care. I'll say where he's from. Kuwait. He was going to hand deliver the watch to, or ship it, whatever.
It was supposed to make it to our office in Hong Kong.
Payment on delivery, confirm, everything is good. We make arrangements. We get a deposit from a very important client. And about a week goes by, and I go to follow up to see, what's the status on the watch. We got to kind of have to ship it back here. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. We can't insure it from Kuwait to Hong Kong.
Meanwhile, I told the client 1 week delivery, and that's giving myself 2 to 3 days cushion because delivery from Hong Kong is anywhere from 2 to 3 days, right? Once we ship FedEx from Hong Kong, customs is another day. It usually takes 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4. So I said a week. Back and forth. The guy goes MIA.
No, so he's like, listen, no problem. He goes, I can't get the watch to Hong Kong. What do we do? I said, listen, I'll send you a label. Import the watch into the United States, no problem. He goes, okay, no problem. I send him a label. He disappears for 2 weeks on me. Almost for 10 days he disappears on me. Doesn't answer my calls. Clients blowing up our phone, this, that, and the third. We don't know what to do. So, make a long story short, I don't know what the hell happened with this guy. But he broke what I call a confirmation. You know what I mean? When you do a deal with somebody, you don't want to sell the watch to me, something happened, let me know. You know, communication is key. Just like, you know, there's nothing special about the watch industry. Any industry that our viewers are in,
you don't
whatever it may be, communication is key. So the lack of communication, I think, is probably my biggest pet peeve. You don't want to sell it? No problem. Tell me. Don't disappear on me so I have to chase you and then look like an asshole.
So now this dealer that I started talking to, when he reached out to me, we've never done a deal with him before. I know of him, and he knew of us, and this was our first deal. Now, to save face, what did we do? The guy sent us a deposit of $95,000. We wired him back 2 weeks later, $105,000. Now, so potentially we took a $10,000 loss on this deal. But the only way to save faith is for me to say, look, I know you have to find one quickly now. You may have to overpay for this watch. You have a $10,000 cushion, $5,000 for whatever happened, and then another $5,000 if you decide to come back to us and do business. Now you have $5,000 to spend with us. And that's really the only way we could do that. I do believe we saved faith by doing that. And did you blast this guy on the chats yet?
No. He's not even on the chats. But
yeah, anyway.
I think our viewers probably think that every single deal that I do goes wrong.
Well, no, it's a numbers game. Adrian does a lot of deals, and some of them do go wrong. But
yeah, listen, Jordan misses shots too.
I know you wanted to talk about a certain watch brand.
I wanted to talk about a certain watch brand?
That really irks you and gets under your skin.
Well, whichever watch I can't sell.
That's not a certain brand. That's not a specific brand.
B, there's a brand called HYT. There's a brand called HYT. It's actually a pretty unique watch. They look kind of cool. They're driven they're driven by like liquid or oil.
It is the
something.
coolest concept. I thought it was the coolest thing that came out when it first came out. But then
every single watch that we sold broke. And it's not that it just broke. It's not like a Rolex Submariner where it just needs a little tweak. We're talking about almost 20% of the value of the watch the repairs kept being. You know what I mean? It's like horrible.
We sold, I don't even say we sold 10 of them. I think we sold maybe 7 or 8 HYT since they came out. When they first came out, you know, I like the cool stuff, the different stuff. I love independence. I love all that stuff. And this was a very cool concept. You know, this is, you know, you got liquids moving in the watch, showing you the time. It's really different colors. It looks cool. It looks futuristic. I'm like, this is great. This brand is going to do great. And they didn't come out of the door cheap. They were like $60,000 plus, $60,000 plus retail, right? So I'm thinking, okay, for $60,000 plus, you would think it would work, right?
Right.
And I know one watch was sent back 3 times to HYT.
It's a brand new watch.
Brand new. We were sending back to HYT 3 times. Now, from what I understand is later in time, they did fix whatever issues that we're having. But by then, the brand lost its luster. Nobody cared. It became notorious for being broken all the time. They even lowered the like right now. There's HYTs out there that retail for $20,000+, and they can beat their head against the wall if they want. I think they should have. They just didn't get it right the first time. And in this industry, I feel like you get only chance. I'm glad you mentioned that. So let's finish this. Well, let's have another drink.
Yeah.
You're empty. See, you're drinking more than me, bro.
So now, you know.
I mean, I know it's Friday. Still gotta drive home.
Uber.
Right. Cheers. So let's finish this off with a.
By the way, Glenlivet or Macallan 18? Which one do you like better?
Macallan is a little bit harsher.
A little harder, right?
This is a little softer, but Macallan I feel like has more flavor to me.
I find this to be a little bit sweeter than Macallan. I like the boldness of the Macallan.
I like bourbons too, and especially ryes, and ryes tend to be on the sweeter side. So when I drink Glenlivet, I think that's the closest thing I can get to American bourbon. So we're doing a blind watch test.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
All right, this is the Audemars Piguet end of days. Nah,
Yeah, look at that.
Don't do anything fucking weird on the screen, Adrian, all right?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
How the hell is this easy?
Simple, man.
Huh.
You ain't in the watch game unless you know what that is.
There's a sticker here. Is this a Citizens Blue Dial Eco Drive? It's either a Citizens Eco Drive, the one that gets that you can connect to your iPhone, or this is a Seiko.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna say Seiko.
Now, Roman, how were you able to? You are right, but how were you able to tell that?
There's holes in the VIP. No, I'm kidding. Because no, I'll tell you how I'll be able to tell that. First of all, I can tell by weight. I can tell by the somewhat flimsier bracelet, okay, and how smooth the bracelet is, and the shape and the functionality of the Citizens Eco Drive, and Ian can throw that up on the screen, is in terms of functionality, number of buttons is very similar to that of the Seiko. Next, piece of cake.
Oh,
Much heavier.
yeah.
Oh no, there's a tag on here too. Wait, I can read Braille.
I don't think there's Braille.
Oh, come on now. This is too easy. This is a core and bubble. I don't know which one it is because I can't see the dial, but this.
That's the Steve Aoki.
You got to try harder. Yeah.
That's
this
the
is
Steve
the
Aoki.
stuff that I bought. I don't know which core and bubble it is, but I know it's a
the
core and
Steve
bubble.
Aoki bubble.
Next. Oh, great.
Can you see through that T-shirt?
This is a Mega Constellation full pave dial, full pave bracelet.
Wow.
Done?
No, we got one more.
Oh, one more. I thought you were gonna give me 3.
Well, that was too easy.
Oh, thanks.
That's easy. Come on now.
Nothing on the buckle, so it's a cheaper watch.
Want me to give you a hint?
Hold on. I cannot tell what this is. It's not a chrono.
We gotta play with it more, Roman.
Yeah.
Shake it more than 3 times, playing with it.
I'm gonna go with Oris.
No. Not bad. 3 for 4.
Tudor. I knew it! I f***ing knew it was a
3
Tudor.
for 4.
Wow. Okay, that was blinding.
So, great episode, guys, and
no, sit your ass down. Alright, go ahead and blindfold him with my t-shirt.
I'll blindfold myself.
No.
Oh, man, you really can't see this shit. You weren't kidding. Oh, I'm really gonna suck at this. That's a Rolex.
Yeah, what kind?
Chrono. What kind of clasp is this? An oyster. Smooth bezel. I'm gonna say this is a Rolex Milgauss.
It's very good. Okay, what color crystal? Next. Oh, you're gonna love this guy. The look on his face, though. Is this what I look like a complete idiot?
It's a chrono of some sort.
Just whatever you do, don't smell it.
Was it old or something?
Nah, just saying don't smell it.
It's also a Quorum?
No.
I have no idea.
Alright, next. Next time we're gonna do this, we're both gonna be blinded. Whatever he can't get, you're gonna give to me, and vice versa. I think that's a good idea. What you got there?
Well, it's rectangular.
HYT. Where's the crown?
Yeah, where is the crown? Who does it be? Ooh, oh, this is Urwerk.
Ding, ding, ding. Next.
All right.
That's actually it.
That's it?
That's it? You only got... No, that's messed up.
Number 3. What was this?
Well, I'm 3 for 4.
Oh, it's an IWC.
Da Vinci Perpetual.
I would've never
you know,
guessed
you know,
that.
you know what it gave it away? The lugs and the rounded buttons. That's what we gave it away.
But you know what this could also be? That they make similar K-shape, a show part Imperial.
But that would normally have diamonds. Yeah.
I also know we don't have a show part Imperial, so I would have never said that.
We actually do. Oh, no, we sold that one. The one that we had. All right, boys. So, this was fun. Guys, I think that's it. I think we I think we're running long, and I'm running low on scotch. With that said, I'm gonna say thank you to you guys for hanging out with us for this long, and we're gonna see you next week for more watches
and whiskey
and some gums
and some watches
and some watches.
and some whiskey.
Good night.